First of all, it deserves a standing ovation. Yes. When people do good, you recognize them. When they do the right thing, you recognize them. A system that rewards criminality and wrongdoing is not going to develop. These judges did the right thing. You need to see how they reprimanded INEC. They even went as far as fining them. Yes, this is how you do it. If you don't correct wrongdoing, if you don't hold people responsible for their actions, they will start feeling like mini gods, and they can do anything, all sorts of impunities, and get away with it. Before we hear the full story, let's just take some lines from the judgment. INEC should stop dancing naked in the market, pretending that no one is seeing its nakedness and its dancing steps. The INEC as an institution should be reminded of its role in an election to be an unbiased umpire between parties. It should stop behaving irresponsibly, having in mind that its duty to conduct election has a direct bearing on peace and well-being of the country. The role of INEC in election disputes should be limited to the tendering of all the documents used in an election and explaining what they were used for and how they were obtained. These are just a few lines from the judgment. When you hear these kind of statements from a judgment, there will be no doubt in your mind that justice was delivered. This kind of reprimand is reminiscent of what Nigerian justices did in the past, in the 80s, in the 90s, and the early 2000s. Nowadays, most judges are just there for themselves. They only care about how much a litigant or a party will pay for judgment. They don't want to uphold any law. They don't even care the consequences of their actions. They don't want to know. What they want is that immediate gratification. Just bring the money and take the judgment and be going. What happened in Kano, the appeal of the Kano state governorship election, proves that these people are just there to sell judgment to the highest bidder. Among the many thousands of judges and justices that are in the employ of the Nigerian judiciary, there are still few who have their integrity intact, who will always uphold the law. Now, let's hear the full story. The appeal was heard by a three-man panel led by Justice K.I. Amade. It was a unanimous judgment by the three justices. The appeal itself was brought by an APC candidate from the House of Assembly election in Bauchi State. Of course, he lost at the tribunal, so he decided to challenge and appeal the judgment. The person he petitioned against is a PDP candidate, the current speaker. Of course, he's no longer the speaker because he has been sacked. So what happened was that INEC was supposed to declare the election inconclusive because of the places they cancelled the election. In fact, the margin of lead of the PDP candidate was far smaller than the unaccounted votes, which normally they are supposed to declare it inconclusive. But you know INEC in their ways, they just declared the PDP guy, Abubakar Suleiman, the winner. Being dissatisfied with the situation, Abdul Malik Ningi, the APC guy, went to court. So before he went to that tribunal, he went to INEC and requested the CTCs they used in the conduct of the election, which INEC willfully provided to him. They stamped it, signed everything. They delivered the documents the way they were supposed to do it. But when they came to court now, they denied the documents. Can you imagine? The audacity to deny what they produced. How can they finish delivering documents to somebody and come to court and say, no, these documents didn't come from us? It doesn't make any sense. You cannot outrightly lie to the judges and be telling them with a bold face, we did not produce this document. Okay, where is the one you used to conduct the election? You don't want to produce it. You are denying the one you produced. So you don't want the court to proceed. They are hiding evidence. So why will a judge fail to reprimand them? You see, the problem is that these corrupt politicians that call themselves lawmakers that amend our electoral laws, they know why they have not made election-related crimes serious felonies. Crimes that should attract upwards of 10 years in prison without the options of fine, so that people will behave and straighten up. When an INEC official knows that he is facing 10 years or more, he will think twice before supporting or accepting bribe from a candidate. Election matters should be taken seriously. These people have the power to make someone a president, a governor, a local government chairman, many elected positions. So why should someone who has this kind of power fail to do his job? And when he fails to do the job, the law will see it as misdemeanor instead of a serious felony. This is the major problem. That's why INEC officials, despite all the trainings that they undergo, they will still go to the field to conduct the election. They won't look at the guidelines. They will just do whatever they want. They don't care. Yes, that's the modus operandi of returning officers. Even the INEC chairman during the presidential election collation in Abuja, Dino Melaye kept referring him to the electoral law, what it says, what he's supposed to do to verify the results. He refused blatantly on national television.
I'm a party agent.
You are now,
that is what the
you are now
Constitution
being disruptive of the process.
I am not being disruptive. I'm asking
Okay.
what is uploaded is
Next,
Judges that were supposed to reprimand him instead upheld the heist. Look at the result. Look at what happened in the off-season governorship elections. INEC officials came with pre-filled forms EC8A to polling units. Yes, that's the result. That's the consequence of the failure of the courts to annul everything they did. In the next election, they might not even come to the polling units. People will be waiting in the field for them. They will just announce and collate the results. So it is surprising that appeal court justices deliver this kind of judgment against INEC, reminding them of their role in elections, that they should not come to court and be defending a particular candidate. They should maintain their neutrality as an umpire in the election, not come to court and start denying a document they produced. This is not even the problem. Okay, produce the one that was used since you are denying this one. Someone will block the road, you won't want people to pass, you won't give way. One must happen. So the court sacked the Speaker of the Bauchi State House of Assembly, and after they reminded INEC of their role in elections, they still fined them 500,000 naira and ordered them to conduct fresh elections in some polling units in the constituency so that a winner, the real winner, will emerge. You see, all the judgments that have come during this election season, many of them, nearly 80% or more of them, never considered the electorate. Yes, the electorate are the real voters, people who make the kings, so to speak, people who determine who is the governor, who is the local government chairman, who is the president, all elected positions. When judges decide election disputes, they don't consider them. Just like what happened in Kano State, they trashed 165,000 votes. How can they blame the electorate for the mistake of INEC instead of reprimanding INEC like these justices did in the judgment? Instead of fining them and making sure that they don't repeat such tomorrow or in another election, they decided to penalize the voters. Can you imagine? Just because they want to arrive at a predetermined destination, they are ready to harm the electorate. It is no crime of theirs that INEC officials refuse to stamp or sign the ballot papers or collation results. It's not their fault. They came out on election day, stood in line, and cast their vote for their preferred candidate. So that their will and decision must be respected by everyone, including every judge, anybody. That is democracy in action. For one judge to sit in court and annul all the votes when they are lawful votes is just a perversion of justice. So these are the kind of justices that truly deserve the honorable that is attached to their name. Nigerians should be proud of these kind of justices. They are the type that deserve to be in leadership positions so that they can effect change in the judiciary. But like you know, the Nigerian system promotes and rewards wrongdoing instead of rewarding good deeds so that they can encourage the person to do even more and better than he did yesterday. Thanks for watching.